Hey folks, I'm Glenn and this is the Cactus Atlas. Today we're going to explore Hovenweep National Monument. All right, here we are at Hovenweep National Monument, or is it Hovenweep? I'll have to inquire. I'm not quite sure. This was an unplanned stop on this trip, and it's kind of ironic because this was supposed to be a stop on a previous trip that I couldn't fit in for time. So I'm here today due to unplanned circumstances. I had to have a plan B, and it just worked out. I was in the right place at the right time. Oh, so this is some information. It says what's where, and the National Monument is made up of 6 separate units spread over a 20-mile stretch of the mesa tops and canyons. All units are open to the public, but most are in remote locations and are difficult to reach. Ooh, this might be more adventure-y than I thought. I got kind of scared there. I misinterpreted the sign up front and went inside and heard them talking about all the outlier ruins in the area that you can drive to that are public, harder to get to. And I thought that's what we were going to have to do, is that drive around and find these things. And I'm short on time. But it turns out there is a very concentrated, like 90-minute walk, like a 2-mile loop around like a concentration of these things. So, whew, we're good. But I was like, uh-oh, another screw up. This is a nice paved sidewalk. I mean, and completely accessible so far. One of the finest paved sidewalks I ever seen ever. Like, this is so well crafted. So let me give you the details on what this is really. So if you've watched the channel for a long time, you know I love my Indian ruins. I love exploring and seeing these things. And one of my favorite cultures of the past to explore the ancestral Puebloan people. And we've been to Chaco Canyon. It was on that trip that I was planning on coming to check this out. So I'm glad I finally got to come back. But these were people that were here about, I don't know, 750, 800 years ago, making an existence here successfully in this beautiful region. I mean, look at this. You got mountains in the background with snow. In any direction you look, you'll see things like that. And all these like pinyon pine, juniper, or maybe cedar. I'm not sure. But anyway, very beautiful landscapes. And they say up front, if you were here back in the day, you'd hear like the voices of hundreds of women and children like laughing and doing their day-to-day life stuff out here in this area. Oh, look at that from here. You see that? It's like a medieval castle, like you would think from like the like in England or France or something like that, or Germany. Holy moly, I've read about these things, but seeing it in person is a completely different thing. I only see little bits and pieces poking out from the little where you can see through these pines, and I'm already impressed. It looks like the construction very similar to what we saw at Chaco Canyon, that really amazing masonry. And they say that this is the finest masonry in existence from those cultures. So I'm really excited to see it, because that's a tall order to state that compared to Chaco after seeing that. So I've got expectations, we'll just put it that way. Right off the bat, we're coming up upon a little appetizer, it looks like. Little appetizer ruin. See that? All right, so I've surveyed my map in the area, and what you have going on here is a loop trail. It goes around this whole canyon, I guess. Somehow we get across to the other side. You actually see people over there right now, and all the way around to those features called the Twin Towers, and then you keep going and going, and somehow it comes back around again. I might even see the trail go down. Actually, I do. You do go down into the canyon and back up the other side, it looks like. And yeah, this is the first one you come upon, called the Stronghold House. And it's already beautiful. You can really see the masonry is really well done. They really fit all those things together. And it's still standing 800 years later, so can't say that about even things 100 years ago in some cases. They have a campground here too. Now I almost wish I had different plans and could camp here. I'm enamored by this place, but we want to stick to the ruins trail, so it looks like we're gonna get the business of going down into the canyon over with here in the beginning. Needless to say, it's no longer a very accessible experience, but they do mark the trail very clearly, so it's hard to mess it up. So I was gonna do this counterclockwise, but now I'm doing it clockwise mainly. Just a lot of folks were going the other direction, a lot of chatter, kind of was having a hard time separating from the herd. So I decided to impromptu style, just switch it up and go this way. So far it's paying off. So far, a little bit more than I was thinking it was gonna be in terms of getting down somewhere. And then I'm gonna have to get back up on the other side too. You have to be a little careful here. I like that though, I like some danger. It's just a majestic look too. The mountains in the background with snow on them. The sun shining beautifully. We're almost at the canyon bottom already, but it's a little bit of a climb. You know, maybe 100 feet, 150 feet, I'm gonna estimate. But you can see the trail down in the bottom, so we'll see what it does to get us up on the other side. This would be a beautiful place to live. It's so picturesque, the snow-capped mountains and all these junipers. These are junipers, I think, right? They're like conic shaped, so I think they are. There's a mix of pines back here. Yeah, so back to, I guess, what this is. Yeah, these people I think are related to the Chacoan culture, the ancestral Puebloan people, like related to people like probably the Mesa Verde people. Like that's the group that we have in mind today. I've read about some of these communities though, and it's hard to know if they were like all part of the same group or if they were like side groups influencing each other. Like they would find pottery in some locations that's the style of the people that lived at Mesa Verde, but they're not sure if it was because the people living in those locations produced it or if they were trading, because these people did a lot of trading, but clearly their architecture and stuff has a lot of similarities, especially here, I think, and Chaco Canyon. I guess for those of you that say you really can't do things like this, yeah, this is definitely one that requires a little bit of finesse. And there's our view of some of those ruins again. This is a nice picture-worthy spot down here, actually, with all this like dense material down here. I gotta put this down and get the other camera out. All right, let us continue on our way. We are at the bottom of the canyon now, about to I think make our ascent up the other side. Yay. And then come with me back 800 years ago and maybe you'd see like the smoke from fires up on the top of those areas. And I don't know if they would be doing anything down here in the bottom or not. Maybe they could grow some of their crops down here, I don't know. I read they did that on the mesa tops though. Maybe we'll learn more as we proceed. Here's the view going up the other side. We're going up now. This is probably a deterrent for many. You could do one side of the canyon and not have to cross over. So that would be an option for some, if this is too much. All right, here's our second structure, because we saw the Stronghold House first. This is the Twin Towers. It looks different on the backside, not as round, although there are curves. We'll get closer now. Isn't that something else? Like, what was this? I assume people lived in there. Multi-story structures. Look at all the small rocks, like stuck between the big ones. I hear that reinforces it. But you see that style in Chaco Canyon also. But you see that all the way up, through and through. And then built on these rocks. I just really noticed that. I mean, this is really, they got medieval on your ass here. I had to say it. But it really does look like something you'd see in a Europe setting, like a European castle. Wow. Oh man. I wish we could poke our heads in there and explore. I know that's very much off limits here, but This is something else. I mean, everything is something else here so far. I see some other ones that look amazing, but I wonder if you went the other way, if this could be a grand finale. It's that fantastic, really. I'll try to look at this side here and see if there's another door. There is. We might be able to peek our heads in there, maybe. You can see areas where they probably ground stuff in there, like a mortar pestle type thing. But yeah, look in there. You can actually see a little bit inside there. That's cool. There's a window over there, and you can still see the original wood in the framing of the door. Very likely original, like 800-year-old wood. You gotta wonder, I guess there were, wondering if there was a roof on these things. I assume there was. Just very strange. I've never seen anything quite like this. This is very unique so far in my explorations. Yeah, these things are also really interesting, especially in this general region, because some think that these might be like fortifications, and you see a trend with a lot of these people moving up into cliffs and in ways that look like defensive postures. And we've seen similar things even in the area of Phoenix with the Perry Mesa culture, the Hohokam. They built like little forts up in the on mesas and stuff, very similar, on similar time frames too. So you gotta wonder, why is that? Was it a show of force? Was it just they were starting to become more technologically advanced with their building techniques and just wanted to do cool things? Kind of like how humans still do today, you know? You gotta admit, I mean, doesn't it look very fortress-like, these things? Like little outposts all over the landscape too. Okay, yeah, this one here is the Rimrock House. I was waiting to see the sign before I could call it out. Interesting. You got like a lot of curved ones, and then you got square rectangular ones like that. So they like their geometry apparently. Wow, and look how these people took advantage of their environment. They even built things underneath boulders, and it looks like they did build stuff down in the bottom. What could that be? And that thing down there is just known as the Round Tower. Maybe Dracula could live down there. And then right across the way, another round tower. And then even further off, we're gonna walk, I think, all the way around that ways. Even more. I'm gonna transport you over to the next ruins way down the way, so you don't have to listen to me talk the whole time. All right, so I've made my way to this other side, and that's a really sizable structure over there. I would say not Chaco Canyon grandiose, maybe comparable to some of the sections of some of the remaining pueblos for sure, but that so far is the largest thing we've seen today. And there's that really weird square tower, just named the Square Tower, below there, right underneath like a curved structure. Very remarkably strange and inexplicable. What were these things for? Why did they do it? As I've been making my way down this trail, I've been pondering, you know, how does this compare to the Chaco Canyon experience? And it's maybe not a fair comparison, but clearly there's a lot of similar influence between the two peoples. Maybe part of one larger culture, but it's really hard to compare the two things. I think Chaco, the thing I would say that strikes out there is just the scales and the quantity of the giant like pueblos in close proximity to each other. You don't really have that here. That's the biggest thing I've seen yet. Things are more spread out here, but the setting is more picturesque here, I would say, in my personal opinion. And the varied geometry and strangeness in the placement makes this place more mysterious to me, and really is getting my curiosity going more. They are both to be experienced though, make no mistake, and they are both in the same general region. Oh, region of the United. There's a rattlesnake, look. It's my first rattlesnake sighting on the Cactus Atlas. I scared it and it scared me. You hear that rattle? So now I've heard one in person. I don't know what kind of snake that is. I don't recognize that pattern. It's not, I don't think it's a Western Diamondback for sure. Is it a Mojave? Oh, I'm not even filming it. I'm so nervous. It's in a defensive posture. Wow, my adrenaline is going. Does anybody know what that is? Which kind of rattler that is? So through the magic of time travel, I've come back to the visitor center to find out what kind of snake is this. And we looked through some books and she kind of had an idea when I showed her the picture, and she thinks it's a prairie rattlesnake. And there's another one called like a midget. I already forgot the name, and I would agree, looking at the picture, it seemed to match. So we're gonna go with prairie rattlesnake for now. I saw it right at the same time it saw me. I'm not gonna get closer. I'm maybe like 6 feet away from it. I'm zoomed in. It's a beauty though. It's all right. When I need to warn other people though about you being here. You're a tiny little one. I might get a picture to show the ranger. Ooh, you're tough. It's got a small rattle, so I wonder if it's a young one. So luckily it was in a place where I could see it clearly, because it really contrasts nicely against that rock. But you can go, buddy. I'm not gonna bother you. I just want to get around you, my friend. And here we are at this other end now of the thing, past the rattlesnake. Ah, that is awesome. It's exhilarating. And back to our regularly scheduled program, folks. This is the Hovenweep house. I said Hovenweep this time just to cover all bases. So I've been waiting to say this for a long, long time now. They live. They live, the rattlesnakes. Oh, I was so fortunate to have it right there in that environment though, where I could see it. Because you saw me just walking down in the canyon, like blindly not watching where I'm stepping. I do that all the time. And that was a tiny one. We got some really bad ones in Arizona. I don't think any of them I want to get bit by, but man, that was awesome. Have you figured out that I'm excited by that? Now I'm on the lookout, but I don't have like a weird feeling. I'm not like freaked out by it or whatever. I was really fascinated. I want to see another one now. I want to see a bigger one. Anyway, I keep saying we got to get back to the show. That view is getting my attention. Here we're looking at something called Checkdom. I don't know if it's referring to that or something else that I don't see. But let's continue, because yeah, this side, I would say to me over here, this might be the main feature. And actually maybe if this is like the last of the main attractions here, which it might be, this might actually be better for the grand finale than the Twin Towers now. It's really weird to say the Twin Towers. They don't really advertise it. And they don't really discourage it explicitly, so I think I'm okay. But come to the edge on this side and you'll get a better view of the square tower than where we saw our rattler friend on the other side, near that sign for the square tower. I think this is a better view actually, because you can see inside. It's almost like a chimney, and look at the bottom. It's got like a round bottom, and there's more walls and stuff there. And then how many of those rattlers live down in this area? Probably hundreds, if not thousands, is my guess. I'm thinking of the people here that lived here too, and just wondering, rattlesnakes like that were probably just a part of daily life for them in the season. Probably a meal, to be honest. I wonder if one of those people were here with me, they probably would have snagged the opportunity to kill it and present it for dinner. This here is like the one that seems like the most like the Chacoan style. This is kind of reminiscent of that. Not the rounded tower-like aspect of it, but the scale. I mean, this would be like one tiny section, I would think, of Chaco Canyon, but from the other side, it certainly looked that. It's a lot more round though on this side. This looks more castle-like. This is like Bowser's Castle up in here. I think those holes were probably for like support beams and things like that. I don't know what else they'd be for. And you can see the light glistening off the tops of those corners. And yeah, these people here would have had a view of their neighbors or whatever the heck was going on down there. Maybe that was the local saloon. And that was the house of worship. So the Hovenweep Castle, that probably is my favorite actually. So I'm actually quite pleased we went the direction we did, or else maybe the grand finale would have been the Twin Towers, which were awesome. But I thought that was where it was at, the castle. Aptly named because it looks like a medieval castle. All those like round corners, the stonework, the stones are like, they seem bigger in size than the kind they used at Chaco Canyon. Those seemed a little smaller at times. So just really a unique looking place. Very mysterious. All right, for sure I'm not crazy. Those mountains are popping now. I think it's just because there's some atmospheric haze or something, and now I can really see a lot more detail on the tops of those. I need to get a zoomed in photo of that. Well, folks, I delivered ruins, mysterious ruins, beautiful snow-capped mountains, juniper trees, and rattlesnakes. I hope you come back next time.